I don't know if you could call this bright and early because it's pretty dark outside. Got a few people in the lobby down here getting ready to go to the airport, waiting on the shuttle. And man, the weather report said that it is like 37 degrees out there this morning. I'm not sure how cold it is, and I ain't going out there unless I have to. I'm up here in the Chicago area, just man taking care of a manual swap transformation conversion. You have it, and that thing is turning into a restoration project. And I don't blame people. You know, when you doing a manual swap, you have the engine or transmission out. You normally have the subframe out or the engine off the subframe. And there's parts under there that's been there probably 30 years. And if you bought this part, let's say for instance a hydraulic mount in the front or rear, these hydraulic mounts they crack and they leak out the fluid. Who knows when? This car's hydraulic mount's probably been busted for 5 years. And if you fix that, the car rides amazingly smoother. And if you went to a garage and had one of those mounts replaced, you probably looking at, I don't know, 200-300 bucks. Some garages charge $110 just to change the serpentine belt. I can imagine what they would charge to replace one of these hydraulic mounts. So when I'm in there doing that, it takes probably 10-15 minutes to replace one of those hydraulic mounts. So while I got the transmission out, subframe down, something like that, man, you're probably looking at part plus $15 to get that part replaced. Whereas it would normally cost $200-300 on a minimum. So I got the subframe down. One hydraulic mount, I looked at it, I could flick it with my finger and the bottom of the mount just come off of the rest of the portion of the mount. And then over there on the back side, that mount's busted too. So we got a situation where a lot of things are going to be easily accessible. Now, at most shops, legitimate shops, when they replace a part, man, they look at the book time. And a lot of them will go ahead and boom, just charge book time on every job they do. You take your car to the shop, it needs spark plug wires, a cap and rotor. Now that job would be integrated in with the book time. However, if you doing an air filter off of the what do you call it, tune up, and a engine mount or some kind of vacuum line that's going to that airbox, they're probably going to charge that different. So you're sitting there, boom, paying for 3 jobs, two on the minimum, 2.5 on the minimum. Whereas if somebody like me's doing it, and all three of those things can be done in an hour, I'm just going to charge you an hour. You know, one of my main deals in taking care of uh, people is trying to save them money. I mean, nobody wants to put 10, 15, $20,000. I mean, most people don't want to put that kind of money in a vehicle that's 30 years old that they're using for their third or fourth vehicle. But when you got things torn apart because you're doing a $2,000-3,000 job, hey, throw in some more parts, get some more stuff done, anything that's real accessible. And that is a good time to save some money and get the car nicer. Hey, I just want to shout out to some of you guys that are joining. I appreciate you checking in. Mark, what on earth are you doing at this time of the night? It's morning. It's 2 a.m. where you are, but it's 4 a.m. where I am. and I'm normally up at this time. So, hey, Mark, I appreciate you stopping in. Hope you're having a good night. Subframe bushings are a pain in the butt once they're worn out. Yeah, you get a lot of vibrations with those things. Now, there was a lady that had an 850. It was black. She had it transferred, painted red. She had me replace almost every piece of rubber with OEM rubber. She spent about 18 G's on restoring that car. Part of the paint restoration, transfer, I don't know what you call it, color change from black to the R red was part of that cost. But let me tell you something. I never drove a new 850. When I drove that car felt like something brand new. The most amazing ride I'd ever had in the 850. It was incredible. New OEM shocks, new OEM bushings everywhere we could find, any rubber. That thing was amazing. Somebody actually stole that car from me. That's another story, but most amazing ride I've ever had. Been in on an 850. Okay, so yeah, subframe bushings are a pain in the butt. However, if you have a subframe down, man, that's the time. I checked the price of those bushings; they're pretty cheap. Some good aftermarket ones, I think they're aftermarket ones, were like $20 a piece. Knock those out, pound them in. You could do four of them in an hour if the subframe's laying on the ground. Smooth that ride out. It's amazing. Yes, it is early. I'm in the Chicago area, so right now it is like 4 a.m. And I've been up for a while. Probably going to do a little laundry here in a few minutes and get ready for my day. I got a daily routine that's kind of, it's mine. It's what I do. I don't know what to say, but I'll get up. Normally wake up around 2:30 a.m. Can't get back to sleep. I don't know if it's because I have tenants or what it is, but sometimes if I put a TV show or something on, I can take a nap. But I'm normally up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I try to go through my messages, help people out, answer their questions, stuff like that. When it gets close to daylight or barely daylight outside, I normally go for a walk. That takes me about an hour. I try to get an hour's walk. Normally ends up being close to 3.5 miles. After that, I prepare to go take care of any work I'm supposed to do, helping somebody or whatnot, making sure I got parts ordered for the next week of work that I got to do for me or others. And hey, just get done with messages, have a breakfast, and then get to work. Rarely working by 9 a.m. Normally it's somewhere closer to 10 a.m. All right, so here's Mark. My wife had a hit and run accident on the freeway a few days ago. She was hit going 75 miles an hour and the idiot simply took off. She was shaken up but fine. The car is a mess and in the shop. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Most of the mature people I know, when they get hit on the interstate, they're done with the interstate. That's a scary situation. Like you said, you're going 75 miles an hour and some crazy person runs into you. That's a real scary thing, especially if that car starts moving, twisting around, spinning around, stuff like that. Hopefully she'll be okay riding the interstate after that. She's a pretty solid lady. She might be able to get through that. But man, tell her. Sounds like she's okay. Tell Jackie I'm glad she's okay. And get a dash cam. Man, dash cams are almost a lifesaver. Stuff like that. It'll record these people's license plate number, and you can deal with that stuff later. And turn the volume on. A lot of times I record with my dash cam and I don't have the sound on. I have it muted. I don't know. Maybe somebody asked me to do. They didn't want their voice recorded in the car at one time, but now I run it with even the recording on, so you can hear the sound of somebody hitting the car or something weird going on, brake screeching, stuff like that. But it's a good idea to have a dash cam in every vehicle you have. The one that's in my daughter's car actually has a rear camera recording at the same time. So her vehicle's recording front and rear. If the car is parked, no one's in it, and someone hits that car, that camera is supposed to turn on, record for 30 seconds, and then turn itself back off and lock that file so that that file won't be wrote over. So we've caught people messing with the car, and it dash cam records that stuff. So if you're not running the dash cam, please get a dash cam. They normally run for a front dash cam. You'll probably spend, I don't know, $60 for one that's recording, and for a front and rear camera, you'll probably spend somewhere around $80. They're cheap investment. So let's see here. Answer a couple more questions. Yeah, that is fortunate she survived, and that's a blessing. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, she looks like she's in good shape, so hopefully she could hold her own. But man, I don't want to meet these idiots. If somebody is crazy enough to crash into your car and keep going on the interstate, I want nothing to do. I don't want to say hi. I don't want to exchange no information. I don't want to spend 30 minutes with them waiting on the police. I don't want nothing to do with them. I'm good. Hey, Robert, I had an overweight 5097 totaled by a tow truck. They ended up paying out 3,500 after a few months of tracking them down. Who was responsible? Man, how'd you figure that out? It's sad. My daughter's car is sitting in front of the house. She's got an S60 2012. Surprisingly, that little car is wider than the 850s. So it sticks out in the street a couple more inches. And then she has some real expensive wheels on that thing, BBS wheels. So she doesn't like curbing them. So she doesn't park as close to the curb as she should. Now that S60, the nice thing about it, when you're in reverse, if you hit the mirror button, it'll pivot in a way to show you how close those wheels are to the curb. So you can get pretty close. But she just didn't take the time to do that. That car's been hit 3 times in 45 days in front of the house. One time it was total. And I fixed it so she could drive it. Then somebody knocked the mirror off of it. Heck, a mirror is probably a $1,500 job on that car. Mirror has cameras in it, stuff like that. Fortunately, I was able to find one at P3 Volvo and got that thing replaced. But the one that totaled the car stopped because her vehicle was in op. The rest of them, they just keep going, man. Just keep going. Just finished watching your latest video. Very helpful, Robert. I'm slowly working on a 2000 S70 SE here in California. I like those seats in those 2000 SE cars. Most of them have nice patterns in the seats. They're pretty sweet. A 2000 is better than a 99. 99 has some computer glitches, but you know, they're both good cars. They can last a long time. Jackie, don't be talking about Jackie's cooking skills. That may be a blessing. I had a grandmother that couldn't cook, so she ate a lot of things raw, lived to be 102. Cooking may be overrated. Mita is with me now, but she don't like getting up 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I tried to make a little bit of noise to see if she would get up and give me instructions on how she wants laundry done. Mita is, she may not know it, but she's kind of OCD. And she likes things done in a particular way. And me, I like to take the path of low stress. So I don't get worked up about how something is done per se. When it comes to laundry, wiping off a table, uh, closing the door. The people with OCD, they get into how everything is done, and man, I don't care. I'm the wrong person, you know. So I try to get her to relax a little bit and not be so stressed out about how things are done. When Mita got to the house, man, I'm sad to say that freaking house was a mess. Over the previous couple years over COVID, no, I guess it was post COVID. I started going to work, wasn't spending much time at home. I'd go out on the road, work on a few people's ride. Some of them would gift me parts. I'd pick up parts, grab things. I'd come home only for 2 days. I unload the car, just put the stuff in the apartment or in the garage in boxes, and spend a little bit of time with my daughter, check out a couple people's rides around the community, exhausted, go to sleep, do a little laundry, cook a meal or two, pack up the car for the next trip and go. And if you're not paying attention to the details, this stuff can get out of hand. Man, I had probably no less than 12 boxes in the living room. Some of them not small. Boxes in boxes. But I knew where everything was. If I needed something, I'd go find it. Sometime 2 minutes, sometime 20 minutes, but I'd find it. I knew what I had. And Mita likes to keep her living area like a showroom. Everything in its place, everything dust free, everything, man, I'm pretty much sanitized. And that's a lot when you're dealing with somebody like me that I'm more focused on trying to help the next person than I am on my living environment being sanitized and looking like a showroom. So she cried a few times, but man, I'm doing my best to adhere to her style of living when it comes to that. So yeah, she's with me. She's sleeping. I'll probably go wake her up in a few minutes so that I could get the laundry started the way she wants it because in the morning somebody may be using, they got two machines here and two washers, two dryers, and I'd rather not fight for those in the morning. Did you buy a P3 S60 or was it a customer's car? Man, I have a couple of really good friends and I'm an extremely blessed person. I'm starting to tear up just thinking about how blessed I am. But besides that, I did not buy that P3 car. I was traveling somewhere. I don't even know where I was. Probably in Las Vegas area, something like that. And I got a phone call from one of my supporters. And they said that they were at my property, wondering if I was there. They had a gift for my daughter. And they gave her that P3. Just dropped it off. T6. I'm like, when people give me cars, they're normally like busted. It normally costs me like $42,000 to get them street legal again. They give her a P3. That thing was nice. And they had went and bought I guess another P3, 2018 or something like that. and just decided to give it to my daughter as a blessing to her. And that's where we got that thing from. It's a beautiful car. Broke my daughter's heart. Somebody hit it and they're trying to total it. My daughter's a little bit, I guess, thrifty with money, so she don't want to pay 3, 4 G's to get the body damage done. And I fixed the mechanical stuff as best I could underneath. That car still has a little bit of issue back there bouncing around. I think they might have destroyed the shock when they hit that thing, or the alignment is out. Something's going on. So I'm trying to get her to get a rear end alignment on that thing and resolve the rest of the. It's a little bouncy back there. It's not riding as smooth as it should, so that she can at least have it riding smooth. But yeah, that was a gift. So that's amazing. Learning how to do some things on that. One of my buddies in Cincinnati was a Volvo mechanic, one of the best there's ever been. And man, that guy's a maniac. He's fast. He gets it done. He knows Volvos all the way up to probably 2022 like the back of his hand. So anytime I got issues with that thing, I could ask him. I got a couple more mechanic true friends, Alan down there in Florida. I could ask him. He'll give me some guidance. And another mechanic out in Albuquerque if I can't get a hold of Alex. And, we got good support in the Volvo community on the forums and Facebook and stuff like that. We can normally get the help we need, get them things done. Now, I mean, I'm truly amazed by my supporter friend giving my daughter that car. But every once in a while, I have to remind myself I've given away a lot of cars, and normally after they've been totally serviced. You know, uh, one of the things in the Bible it says that we should treat others and do things for others in a way that we would want to be treated or have things done for us. So, one thing that I don't mind, but if I need a car, I need a car that's running. I need a car that's safe. I need a car that I don't have to put $42 million into. Now, if I don't have a car and I need one, it should be obvious that I don't have a bunch of money to put into a old busted car. So if things were done in a perfect world, somebody giving me a car would give me one that's in good shape that I can stick the key in the thing and drive to work so I can make some money to pay these dang bills. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for any car that somebody gives me, or anybody that receives a car as a gift should be grateful. But man, it's like some of these cars people give, you got to put so much into them just to make them roadworthy. It, I don't know, so when somebody gives you a vehicle that's in good shape, man, that's incredible. So I normally give people vehicles that's a 4-year vehicle. They shouldn't have to do anything to them for 4 years, other than maybe brakes, put a set of tires on them, keep the oil changed, and put some gas in that thing. And I've given away more cars. If I sat down here, it'd probably take me 30, 40 minutes to remember all the cars I've given away. So I don't know why it blows my mind when people does something like that for me or my daughter. But hey, it's amazing. I appreciate it. And man, I got some, like I said, really good supporters that, you know, get me nice tools, give me cars that they don't need and stuff like that that I can take and do some maintenance on and pass on to another. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that's giving me a car has been a hunk of junk. I'm just saying I've given away cars, so getting that thing was extremely nice and a blessing to me and my daughter. And we appreciate it. And it's amazing where people don't look at money as the end game. I'm sure he could have traded that car in when he got the other one. Probably got a $3,500 credit or something for that car. They don't give you much on trade ins. And some people, they don't mind spending a couple weeks selling that car. That car is a nice car, it's worth something. So, hey, It was a blessing getting that car. So that's where that P3 came from. It was a gift. Let me see if I can find some more questions here. All right, so do. No, Mita's not coming online. She's still asleep. I got that P3 as a gift. It's freezing cold here in San Diego. This afternoon, I needed to put on the sweater. It was 74 degrees. Man, I worked all day yesterday in Chicago. I don't think it reached 50 degrees. It was chilly and rain and windy. Now, it was under the cover of a closed garage, which was nice, but this particular garage wasn't heated. So when Mita gets up, one of the things we got to do this morning is go find her little heater she could put next to her. So here we go. Yep, OCD. And that can be stressful for the people that have it. Yes, I am in the Chicago, Illinois area. Yes, it was sweet to get a gift like that P3 Volvo. Do, 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 do. Hey, from Russia. How are you? I don't know if anybody knows this or many people knows it, but I believe Alex that owns Swedish Car Parts, he's from Russia. Funny guy, lots of energy. Some people think I'm smart. Man, however smart you think I am, Alex is probably 5 times smarter than me. So that's that. Back in alignment. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of places that don't do good alignment. So that could be a pain in the butt finding somebody that'll do that right. Normally, what I like about getting alignments is a good shop that does a good alignment, they will also let you know what needs to be replaced or repaired because they're doing the estimate on it. So you can find out what kind of problems you got when you get in alignment. Do, 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 do. Volvo 850, my favorite Volvo. Yeah, I love the 850s, man. I hope I never have to give mine up. I got too many of them. So I'm getting ready to get back, send one to the paint shop, get that thing in really good shape, and get it sold to somebody that will enjoy it more than I can. I drive the car when I'm home. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I was in a parts exchange with somebody. Drove 3 hours or so to meet them, and they said that they were considering doing a manual transformation on their 850R. So I said, hey, let's go to the next exit, get something to eat. We met off the interstate. If you're good with driving a stick, you could drive mine to see how it feels, see how you like it. I could drive your car, and that way you have a couple of miles experience, test drive kind of, seeing if you like it and you decide if you want to. Yeah, I used to own a stick. Yeah, I'm good. Man, wrecked my transmission. Like, I really can't get it in first, and it grinds real bad going into third. So Panther has been semi-parked. I've been driving it around second, fourth, and fifth, but it it's smoking that clutch doing that. So I'm pretty much parking Panther until I can pull that transmission and replace it. And we can't get the R clutches anymore, so that kind of sucks. So I don't want to smoke that clutch no more than I have. And I'm going to put that clutch disc back in, or another one that I have that's used, and hopefully it'll last. I won't have clutch problems. And I'm putting the LSD in it too. So I'll have that upgrade when I replace that transmission. 850, it's a must have. Well, good service, they last ages. Yeah, they do. They were quite cheap. They still are quite cheap. The one I just had total. Mm. Oh, I had a 850 total T5R. Man, the car was rough. I mean, we got this car, me and one of my friend supporters got this car from the Chicago area. Spent almost his whole life in the Oak Park area, according to the Carfax. And this car was on its last leg. I mean, the guy said, you know what? I really want to junk it probably, He said, let me see if somebody wants it. They may need parts or something off of it. So we got this car. Sebastian got a nice hood for it. And we got it cheap. I had it back. I'm contemplating whether to do a restoration on it since it's a T5R. Haven't had time. It's been sitting. It's like car number 6 in the stable. And my daughter let her fake cousin use it. Been driving that car every day for like a year. She let her boyfriend drive it because it's licensed and tagged, and whatever he was driving wasn't. That's what I think. She claimed it was having traction issues with the tires, and she was driving his, he was driving hers. I don't believe that. Anyway, she had a written agreement not to let nobody else drive that car. So he's in town in somebody's blind spot, and this person decided to try to make a left turn from lane number 3. Left turn lane is 1, forward traffic is 2. She was in lane 3, and there was a 4th lane that could turn right. She decided she'll make a left turn, didn't see him in her blind spot, hit him, totaled the car out. Now, from my perspective, if the insurance company would have gave me $12, I'd have been fine, just so I don't have to pay nothing. But I said, hey, I might as well try to get what I can out of a insurance company. I pay insurance every month. I mean, I pay a lot of money. I'm paying probably $4,000 a year on insurance at least. So, long story short, they paid out pretty good on that T5R. Now, I made sure it had 4 matching wheels on it. It didn't when it uh, got wrecked, but it had a spare on there. I put the tire back on there. I cleaned it up a little bit, and I talked it up a little bit. I had a lot of parts to restore that car. Anyway, they did pretty good. More than anybody else I've heard. Well, there's been maybe 2 850s that I've heard people get more money on than that one, but they did me, I thought, fair for a T5R running car, being driven every day. But people gotta quit letting these insurance companies just take their car and send it to the crusher with no money. Well, especially if that's something you driving and looks good. The paint on the car was pretty good. I had redone the seat skins from Swedish Car Parts. Those was in that car, and the car was being driven every day. So don't roll over. Let these insurance companies give you nothing for a car. I'm actually working with people when I'm doing these restorations. I'm going to give everybody back for the last 5 years a certificate that's stating that me being a YouTube mechanic enthusiast guy has done restorations on the car, and the car has had significant restoration or modification, so that if somebody T-bones that car or they get into an accident or a tree falls on it or something, they can whip that certificate out and get paid. You know, man, people are putting 5, 10, close to $20,000 into their vehicles. It's a shame for something to happen to them, and they just get $20. And we want to put an end to that. So if you're keeping your car up, putting money into it, and something happens to it, and there's insurance around, you should get paid. Yeah, I told one insurance company one time when my cars got totaled, I will see you in court, because I had done restorations and modifications on the car. The car was nice. I entered the car into a couple shows with some judging. I'm not taking $3,500 for it. At the end of the day, that 850, they wrote me a check for 11 G's and told me it wasn't total. You know, I know one guy, he got like $24,000 when his 850 got hit. So don't be quick to roll over if your car gets hit or something. So they used to be cheap. They're not cheap anymore, especially if you take good care of them. Appreciate everybody that come on. Most of you guys are around the world. Last time I tried to go live 3 or 4 times, it wouldn't work. So I'm glad I was able to go live. It was Mita's idea for me to go live. She said, you up at 4 in the morning, you ain't doing nothing. Just go live. There might be some people up there. So here I am. Thanks for your help. You are welcome. All the way in Russia. I was 72 degrees on Christmas Eve last year in San Diego. I hope to be in San Diego this year, Christmas Eve. Thanks for tuning in from Poland. Nice. Front wheel drive V70R, man. They did not send any front wheel drive V70Rs here to the US. They were all wheel drive. A couple have been converted to front wheel drive to get rid of some of that dead weight and dead meat back there, but we didn't get any front wheel drive versions as factory cars. Any clutch is still original. Wow. Nearly 500,000 miles on the clutch. You know, I didn't know that a clutch could last that long. I had a guy that had a BMW with 700,000 miles on it. He told me it still had the original clutch. I thought he was lying to me, but I mean, somebody you don't know, never met. Why would they lie to you? Anyway, I have about 200,000, no, close to 300,000. No, I got 200,000 on the clutch on Panther. However, I have pulled several cars out of ditches. I've towed several cars across the country. I drive like a maniac sometimes, having fun. I've taught two or three people how to drive that car, so that clutch has gotten wear. When I had the disc out 3, 4 months ago, maybe 7 months ago now, I don't remember when I replaced the engine. That disc looked like it had about 40% of its life left, which I was surprised at that. But when I talked to people that watch me drive, they said, man, you're driving that clutch in a perfect way. That clutch may last you forever. So that's what I hope on. It's good to know that these clutches can last that long. And yours, of course, is the same clutch, having a hard clutch. Yes, sir. Thank you. I am working on that. It's going to be on some nice quality paper. It's going to list the things that was done to the car in bullet points. It won't have the pricing because my pricing is too low. The pricing for stuff that I'm doing on cars, if you got that stuff done in the real world, not Robertville, you're probably looking at 3 times the cost. So if you got that certificate with the things listed on there, insurance company's probably going to value that stuff at 3 times the value, which is helpful for you. It's not our fault that we're getting our cars repaired in an economical way. That don't mean nothing. If you got a discount, you got a discount. That don't mean it ain't worth what it's worth. There's a market value on everything. So that's what the insurance company is supposed to restore you on, your market value. So there's that. Sunny Raven had a similar situation happen to me back 2021 when I got rear-ended. Nissan Sentra. Only the rear bumper cover was torn off a bit. Bought it back for $220 salvage. After that, it was totaled. I don't know what year that vehicle was, but I think there's a plan on the planet by all of these politicians and whoever else runs our country. They're trying to get old vehicles off the road. You know, it's better for the economy if you go into debt buying new vehicles. These new vehicles are no more efficient or produce less pollutant than anything built after 92 or something. Anything with a catalytic converter and and a good design. Man, my 850 runs lower numbers on pollution indexes than some new cars. So it's a scam to tell us, or we're polluting the planet. We need to get rid of our cars and get electric cars, especially the way they build them. They put more carbons or whatever they call it into the planet ozone or whatever than running these older cars. So it's their scam scheme to get us out of these old cars. They're trying to total every one of them. And the sad thing about it, uh, you could get a dent in your door and they'll total the car. Whereas if that car was new or newer, they'd have that dent pulled out of that door in 32 seconds so that you save that car. So I'm not real excited about how they like to total cars nowadays, but hey, it's the way they do it. They're trying to get rid of cars, and we end up paying for newer cars, helping the economy. They don't care how broke we are. They ain't working on getting us paid more. They ain't working on getting the cost of living down, but they're working on getting more money out of our pockets. So that's that. That's my contribution to the political climate on the planet. So, yeah, I always buy mine back. One thing I like to say about accidents, man, you get into an accident, tell them to tow your stuff to the house. Don't let them take your vehicle to no impound lot or nowhere like that. You have no control. When they tow your car somewhere else, you lose control. Just plain and simple. So always have them tow your car home, and they deal with you from there. Don't let them deal with you from somebody else's area. And now, one thing I was surprised, this insurance company that dealt with this last total on this 850R, nice. Kentucky Farm Bureau, I think it is. When an accident happened, the person that was driving the car let him tow it to an impound lot. When I found out, immediately get my car home. I need my car at the house. Thank you very much, and please do it today. The tow to the impound lot to get the car out of the impound lot in 2 days, maybe, yeah, it happened Saturday, got the car out Monday, was over $300. They get the car home, it was like $120. I sent those invoices to the insurance company that was handling the accident, the folder their client. They paid me for both of those tows. I was surprised. So got refunded for those tows pretty quick. And yeah, get your car home. Don't let them have your car impounded somewhere. I mean, unless you don't care, you can't even get to your personal property. When your car is impounded, I think by law they have to give you one access to the car to only get personal items out of it. You can't even get equipment from the car or nothing like that. You can't take a dash cam out or unmount a steering wheel that cost you $4,000 or anything. You gotta leave it all there. Now my car's at home. I settled up with them. I could take anything I want off of that thing and send it to the crusher, and that's what I intend to do. That thing's a T5R. It's got a lot of T5R parts on it, and those parts will not be going to the junkyard. So if you see that, notice that there's a T5R in the junkyard, and it's anywhere near Cincinnati, just don't even bother. Don't bother. There ain't nothing left but bones, bare bones. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. Geico Insurance has always been on this fast route. You know, I don't know. People say what insurance companies are and are not. This world is primarily ran by humans. And depending on how you come across to me or I come across to you, normally dictates what we get out of life. Now, insurance companies, they have more power than they should, kind of like doctors and politicians, more power than they should. And they have the power to make you have a good day, and they have the power to make you have a sucky, crappy day. So I think that, hey, if you get a good agent, regardless of what company they work for, you're going to have a good day. If you're reasonable, kind, and communicate in a professional manner with these people, you'll have a decent day. If you get all upset, irate, belligerent, they're gonna get you, no matter what company they're with. I've had my sister had Geico, got into an accident. Man, she paid more for that accident than they did. Uh, I've heard people have insurance companies. I think Geico paid out good on that 1,850, the highest payout I've ever heard on. But yeah, you don't have to have specialty insurance to get treated fairly. I had State Farm. When they came at me at the one car, they offered me $3,200. I laughed. They wanted to total out my car at $3,200. At the end of the day, I ended up with 11 grand to fix the car, and my title was not banished or titled, wasn't totaled. So it could go either way, you know. But hey, I'm good to hear that. I mean, Geico is one of the big four, I would say. So I don't doubt that they're doing good business. That they're out there. Companies that don't do good business are normally not as visual and at the top of the chain like a company like Geico. So I'm glad to hear you got good coverage, good agents, and get treated decently. Man, I just wish more people would get good coverage. My sister got hit in her little Saturn. The money that peaked out with the payout was like 25 G's. Her hospital bills were like 38. And don't get me started on that, but there wasn't enough money there to pay for the car or pay for her uh, bodily damage, her injuries. So all the people listening to this out there, man, get coverage to try to help people out in the event that there's an accident. When I was selling real estate, we had to have $500,000 on an accident in order to put customers in our car. That was a requirement by Remax. And I'm not trying to say, hey, get in an accident with a Remax agent. They got insurance. I'm just saying that I learned about the inexpensive way to get extra coverage on your accidents so that people that are victim or are involved in the accident with you, they don't have to suffer on top of the suffering that they suffered through the accident. So get good coverage. And on that note, I'm going to sign out. Appreciate you all tuning in. Appreciate your support. And hope you have a great day. Thank you. To chat a little with you, Mr. Robert. I better get some sleep. All right.